Ukraine's Orthodox Christians moved Christmas celebrations to December 25th, but President Zelensky warns of further attacks.
Dozens have died and millions are without power on Christmas as a powerful winter storm continues to pummel North America.
A French pensioner who killed 3 Kurds in Paris was motivated by a pathological hatred of foreigners, prosecutors say.
For many Ukrainian Orthodox Christians, Christmas came early this year. Traditionally, they observe the holiday in January, like many Russians. But as the war rages on, moving the date is another way of standing apart from their aggressor. President Zelensky sent Christmas greetings to those who celebrate, but warned that the holiday won't mean an end to Russian attacks. Moscow, he said, is trying to compensate for its losses by shelling Ukraine and its energy infrastructure. The darkness, he said, won't prevent Ukraine's troops from further victories, but citizens have to be ready for any scenario. Russian President Vladimir Putin, meanwhile, told state-owned broadcaster RTR that he's ready to start peace talks. I believe we're acting in the right direction. We're defending our national interests, the interests of our citizens, our people. However, we are prepared to negotiate some acceptable outcomes with the participants of this process. But it's their business. It's not us who refuse talks. It's them. Russia's defense ministry on Sunday released footage which it claimed shows a military priest serving on the front lines, conducting services even as Russian forces continue their strikes on Ukraine.
Dozens of people have died in the U.S. as an extreme winter storm continues to batter parts of the country, with a blizzard causing dangerous travel conditions. The storm unleashed its full fury on Buffalo in the state of New York, with hurricane-force winds causing whiteout conditions. More than 300,000 homes and businesses found themselves without power on Christmas Eve. Thousands of flights have been cancelled during the festive period. The storm is nearly unprecedented in its scope, stretching from Canada to the Texas border. About 60% of the U.S. population faces some sort of winter weather advisory or warning.
The French pensioner who has admitted killing 3 Kurds in Paris on Friday was motivated by a pathological hatred of foreigners, prosecutors say. The 69-year-old man told police he was on a mission to assassinate migrants and was angry with Kurds for taking prisoners rather than killing captured soldiers during their war against the so-called Islamic State between 2014 and 2019. The killings prompted protest demonstrations from the Kurdish community in Paris and clashes with police. The assailant said he had planned to kill himself, but was prevented from doing so by passers-by who overwhelmed him. He has now been moved from prison to a psychiatric unit, the authorities said. The lives of 3 people injured in the shooting are not considered to be in danger.
Today, the World Cup in Qatar is approved.
The European Parliament's former Vice President Eva Kaili is spending Christmas in jail, with authorities announcing she will be held there for at least another month, after her alleged involvement in one of the EU's biggest corruption scandals in history.
Mrs. Kaili is alone in a prison cell. Unfortunately, her 22-month-old child is alone as well. It's Christmas and there's no one. Eva Kaili feels that she's experiencing a disaster. Please respect that.
Kylie is also accused of money laundering and being a member of a criminal organisation. Her lawyer added that she is cooperating fully with the authorities, but this wasn't enough to prevent MEPs stripping Kylie of her vice presidency role.
Mountain rescue crews in Austria have managed to rescue all but 2 skiers after an avalanche on Sunday. They were initially searching for 10 people feared trapped under the snow, but 8 of those individuals were later identified. The avalanche hit late afternoon on the nearly 3,000-metre high Tlitkov mountain. The cascading snow reached as far as nearby ski trails. Authorities had warned there was a high risk of avalanches in the area, pointing to the fragility of the snow cover after a recent thaw.
Marwa, in the centre here, was just a few months away from becoming the first woman in her Afghan family to go to university. Instead, she will watch on as her brother goes without her. The Taliban has recently banned women from attending universities.
I was heartbroken. I can't describe in words how I felt the day I got the news. Even if they decided to behead women, it would have been better than this ban. We are being treated worse than animals. Animals can go anywhere on their own, but we girls don't have the right to even step out of our homes.
Afghanistan's rulers have said the order was brought in because female students were not respecting their interpretation of Islamic dress codes. But Marwa's brother says this is nonsense. He says when universities opened under the Taliban, different days were specified for boys and girls. The girls were not allowed to enter unless they wore a mask and a hijab. How can the Taliban say that they were without hijabs? The 19-year-old had recently passed an entrance exam to start a nursing degree at a medical university in Kabul. But now her future is much less certain.
It used to be lit up from as early as October, but this year Belgrade got its illuminations in mid-December. They'll be on for just a month, and that only in the city centre. Nevertheless, the high street is in a festive mood as people go about their shopping. Despite the world's crises, not many are thinking about saving.
I'm buying. I have to buy as much as possible.
We saved all month so we can buy presents for the new year, for the children, for everyone else.
I'm a student. I need to save.
You should always save, but I don't think people are going to go short.
Prices have risen more than ever in recent months. The spending power of the population isn't great, and economists advise that it isn't the time to take out a loan or buy into property.
We should cut back and take good care of what we're buying. Firstly, we are overweight as a nation, and it wouldn't harm us to eat less. Secondly, this isn't the time to spend. A smart man, they say, saves money when he has it, but that is not the case with the Serbs.
Regardless of how much money they have, Serbs traditionally go out on New Year's Eve, spending anything from 30 to 400 euros. Live music is a must in all restaurants, and trumpeters come around at midnight.
We're almost completely sold out. Our guests are from all over the world. It's proof you don't have to speak every language. Here, everyone gets along great with our music, good service, and of course, good food.
For those who don't have the money to go out to restaurants, the city of Belgrade is going to provide an outdoor party on 2 stages with 9 famous singers and DJs performing. And for the children, there's an outdoor skating rink to enjoy.
It is not unusual for Serbs to celebrate when things are difficult. On the streets and squares with music, people celebrated here even during the biggest crises, during the sanctions in the 90s, but also when the bombs fell.
Jovanović, Euronews, Beograd.